Hello and welcome. My name is Scott Pelly. On this edition of 6 Minutes, we have a truly remarkable individual. His contributions to American society are still felt today. Through his dedication to the causes he fought for, through his love of music, he's left a lasting and profound impression on all those who have had the pleasure of experiencing his work. You may know him from songs including We Shall Overcome, Turn, 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 and Down by the Riverside. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Pete Seeger. Hello, Mr. Seeger. Pleasure to have you on.
Pleasure is mine, Scott.
Mr. Seeger, what inspired you to perform?
I grew up in a very progressive and musical home. So, from my early years, I've always had a passion for music. Since then, I had become an avid activist in several areas, which has had a profound influence on my music.
You're perhaps most famous for your single We Shall Overcome, which became the anthem for the 1960 Civil Rights Movement. Could you tell us a little bit about that song?
As we both know, it played during the late Martin Luther King's March on Washington. It was at that demonstration that the song became so ingrained in American society.
Another of your notable accomplishments is your founding of the sloop the Clearwater. What was your overarching purpose in creating this historical vessel?
Well, Scott, my sincerest hopes was that in building the majestic replica of the ships that used to frequent the Hudson River, it would inspire generations to come and experience the beauty of the river and motivate them to learn and preserve its past magnificence.
Very well said. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Seeger. The band you created in 1948, the Weavers, produced many works. The predominant focus seemed to be folk music. Could you tell me what that was?
Well, Scott, in 1939, I acquired a job in our nation's capital as an assistant to Alan Lamox. Part of my job required me to sift through commercial music and find music that best represented the style of American folk music. It was because of that job that I became enamored with this genre and strove to preserve as much of it as possible.
It says here that the band took a 3-year break from 1952 to 1955, and you left a few years later in 1958. Was there any particular reason for this? Did you all just decide it was for the best?
Well, the band was designated as a communist organization by FBI informant Harvey Mastow in the early 1950s, who later retracted his statement, however. Unfortunately, his designation resulted in a large amount of bad press, which was instrumental in our decision to take a break, and ultimately our demise as a respectable musical group. Further, adding to that was my blacklist as an artist due to the unfounded accusations of communism.
Saddens me to hear that. I loved your music. As you can see, Pete Seeger was one of the most influential Americans of the past century. His ardent support for everything from environmental awareness to the civil rights and anti-war movements left a lasting impression on American society that will last for generations and generations. Now, Mr. Seeger?
What? Why? Are you still talking, son? Can I go home now?
I hate to put you on the spot, sir, but would you be willing to do a small performance for us?
Well, this is a little unexpected. But absolutely.
That was perfect. All right. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. You may know him from songs including We Shall Overcome, Turn, 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 and Down by the Riverside. It is my great pleasure to welcome Mr. Pete Seeger.
Hello, Mr. Seeger, pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure. The pleasure is mine.
We're not reading it.
It was because of that job that I became enamored. I don't know that word. It was because of that job that I became enamored with the genre.
How can you screw up that word again?
I'm sorry, I don't know that word.
Missed the whole syllable. Enamored.
Norm.
It's one word, it's phonetic. Ow, every time.
As we both know, it played during the Martin Luther King's
March on Washington.
March on Washington. I want to say it. It was at that demonstration that the song became so
Ingrained.
ingrained. You wrote inspired.
Did I really?
Down by the riverside. Down by the riverside. Down. You're recording all this, aren't you?
Just don't be too loud.
Why not?
I got like, my mom's gonna ask what that doing down.
They come down like.
I'm a pretty princess.
Yeah, see that. It's recording now.
Oh yeah.
I figured out how the angle, the hat, so you can't see me looking down.
Ah, see, I don't have that.
The hat. Alright. Don't put that on the blooper.
That's up to me, bro.
No, because you'll like take points off.
Let's just get through this one time, and then we'll start it from the top. There's no way we're using this.
Well, you could cut it.
Not every single line. I'm so sorry, man.
I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside.